The secret to successful marriage is not love. Don't marry a person because you think you love them or they say they love you.
Hello, welcome to the Wireless Church. My name is Chris, and I'm excited to have you in our space. If this is the first time you're watching this video, kindly like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Today, I have an amazing topic I want us to discuss, and I'm discussing it with none other but my own friend and buddy, a co-host to this channel. She is Reggie. Reggie, welcome to this.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. It's nice having you.
It's nice having you too.
Yeah, great.
So, today we want to talk about a subject that is very controversial in a lot of people. We're talking about marriage.
Yeah.
But then I listened to one message from Myles Munroe where he talked about marriage and keys to having a successful marriage.
Okay.
Today we just want to begin our marriage series.
Okay.
Having come out of the pandemic and the economic issues that are happening,
Yeah.
its effect on marriages.
Okay.
And some of the pointers that he gave in his message about marriage, I think you are better situated to tell us more about some of those things. So we will watch a little bit of those excerpts,
Okay.
and then we can come back
Great.
and talk more about it.
So let's go straight to the message, and then we can talk.
All right.
There are those who are married and they seem to be doing well. They're the ones I'm especially concerned about because they don't tell the truth most of the time. They parade a good face. They pretend, and all the while they are going through silent hell. I would rather be single and frustrated than married and frustrated. Matter of fact, I am convinced that the loneliest people in the world are not unmarried people.
Wow.
The loneliest people in the world are married people who are trapped in a marriage that's not working.
Wow, Reggie,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
No, that's a lot.
Exactly.
I mean, the beginning part,
Yeah.
caught my attention.
Right.
And
Right.
I mean, what do you make of it? The camouflage is the seeming camouflage that we see in marriage.
Yeah.
Is that real? Is
You-
something that is really?
You know, Chris, I think what has actually propelled this kind of cover-up is basically the teachings and the pretense the church pushes us to put across. Okay, because I think that honesty in marriage was covered up in the church from beginning. And those who preceded us in marriage were not even honest enough to us to tell us what exactly this thing we are going into is all about. And so once you do the wedding in the church, and the whole community of church is expecting you to put up a certain demeanor. And every Sunday when you go to church, the church is expecting you to probably have hands in hand, hugs, and to pretend that everything is well. So I think that is the beginning of that problem. The church and the whole wedding ceremony and the whole beginning of the relationship is not honest enough, to us. And so most of our predecessors, elder people, married people who have done this over the years, are not even bold enough, honest enough to tell us what the real issues are. And so sometimes we go in there and you are overwhelmed.
So we
Yeah.
basically go into something that we are ill prepared.
Right.
We
Right.
don't have enough information about what we are
Right.
doing. We just
Right.
went in, and people get in, and then they are like, "Whoa, what is it that I got myself into?"
Exactly.
And then now they tell you, "Okay, now that you are in this way,
yeah,
you
this
just
is
have to
play along.
play along."
Yeah, and then we all
And then
go
we
in.
all go in.
Exactly.
I met a
Exactly.
friend of mine, and he told me something. He said, "Chris, when you see couples come to church
Yeah.
in their car, and
Yeah.
they get out of their car, and
Yeah.
the baby is
Yeah.
there, and they're walking."
Yeah.
He says, when you see something like that,
Right.
he says, it's hard work.
Yeah, exactly.
You just don't think it's just that simple.
Right.
It's hard work.
Hard work.
But it's interesting that a lot of this is in church, and many of it is not spoken about.
Right, a lot. I mean, the church, you know that there's a confession that when you are sick, say you are strong.
Yes.
When you are poor,
so that's
say
that's
so
example of
it's more like we look at it from that angle more. That okay, even though this is not doing well, this is not going on well, we still have to act it well. Hopefully, it will fall in line. And in doing that, we act all through. But the whole idea is that even if you act that way, you should work at achieving that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you acting all is well, but you are doing everything that breaks it. Everything that does not make the thing come to that perfect picture you're looking at. All the actions you're doing is bringing it down. And so it becomes too much pretense. Do you get
so I get what you're saying. So yes, there is. I remember Bishop Ajinasari taught me some years ago about being diplomatic, or there's a difference between lying and being diplomatic. So yes, we are not saying that. I mean, go out there and be telling everybody how bad things are going in my marriage and all of that. While you act out well, there must be steps that you are taking to achieve the better things that you want to see in the marriage. Not just to leave it that way, that, okay, just for the sake of publicity, I'm going to make it look so good.
Yeah, so it's well covered, that kind of thing. And you are not making any effort behind the scene to bring the marriage to that level of perfection.
Wow, that's exciting.
I think Myles Munroe has some more information. Let's go to the message.
All right. All right, let's watch it.
The secret to successful marriage is not love. Don't marry a person because you think you love them or they say they love you. Wrong reason.
Whoa. What did I just hear again?
Oh my God.
So this is what Myles does that just gets my attention.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you say that?
Yeah, this is
going against the flow.
Exactly. Like so against what we've been taught, that you have to love somebody to marry them, But over the years, I mean, I've been married for some time.
Yes.
And you can tell from the beginning that at a point, love actually can fail you. Because there are so many things that comes with a person that if you are only depending on love, you might give up. Okay, so I can now agree with Myles Munroe, and I know for a younger person
like
who is just starting to marry,
I'm like,
it's going to be like, hey, what are you talking about? I married this person because I love them. But when you enter into marriage, then you begin to appreciate that love is not enough to keep this union together. Myles put it in one way, but I have a philosophy that I think that every marriage has a purpose. And if you are not able to capture the purpose of the marriage, so many things around can let you give up along the line. Okay? And so it is important that, yes, love absolutely cannot hold the marriage as long as we want to go. We need other factors to make this union stand.
Okay, so let me just maybe ask the question. So if love is not enough, so let me go the long haul. You talked about purpose. There must be purpose for the marriage, for the union. Why are the two of us coming together? Why do we want to be together? If that is not really defined properly, along the way, our love for each other may fail us along the way.
It will. I mean, it definitely will.
So what other factor can we look at? I mean,
that is why in most counseling sections, the character of a person is key critical. You cannot overlook everything because you love the person. There are some, Chris, you can love everybody. You can love somebody. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, or you have a vision, you have a mission, you know how you want to get there. Loving somebody is not the basis to get you there. It is what the person is made up of, and what complementing attitude, character, habits the person have to put you where you want to go. And it's for both sides. I mean, I know that the general knowledge is that, okay, you're going to you're going to support a man's vision. But every person was created for a purpose. And I think in one of these videos, we'll look at Purpose by Myles Munroe. We all have our purpose.
That reminds me of something
Right.
I used to, when I was in the uni, people asked me about a lot about marriage and relationship, and the purpose thing comes to mind. I used to give a scenario where I say, can you imagine that you are going to Canada,
Right.
and I'm going to the United States,
Right.
and I say,
I love you.
Can we be together?
Because I love you.
Because I love you. I mean, I'm like, we are going to two opposite directions. And sometimes when I see people in marriage or in relationships, I can see one person is going north, and the other person is going south.
Right.
And even though you love each other,
right,
you may just part hands and say, hello.
I love
thank
you so much.
I love you so
where
much.
I'm going,
but I'm going north.
I'm going north.
And you are going south.
Yeah.
But if you find out that, okay, I'm going to the north.
Right.
And it happens that
he's
you're
going
also
to
going to
you're going to Techima.
Then
we're going together. We can go together.
We can go together.
And then we'll reach your destination, fulfill your purpose, and then we can continue to the north. So these are very critical things that I think upcoming people in relationships should be considering. And it is vital to the success of the marriage. Otherwise, you will not find the reasons why people leave marriages can be so trivial. And it's all because the bigger picture was not factored.
Purpose.
Purpose is key to the marriage. Look, every two people God put together is for a bigger purpose. Love, attraction is just God's way of bringing you together to achieve his bigger picture. So that is why you cannot leave God out of this. It's critical.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going to have fun. And trust me, people have fun and they leave each other. Yeah. If that is what you want, but if you're looking at a long-lasting marriage, you're not going to only depend on love.
Wow.
So you see other women say, oh, I think he doesn't love me anymore. It's not a reason to leave.
Really?
No, absolutely not.
Wow, this is great. This is great. So I'm just looking at what we're talking about right now, and I'm wondering. Okay, so we're talking about purpose, vision, and having a sense of getting to the same destination together and achieving the same goal. All right, so a lot of our young folks need to learn this stuff, especially for those who are not married.
It's so critical.
Another session, another day, I want to ask you, for those who
have already, what do we do?
What do we do?
Okay, so that's
we'll
another day.
Yeah, that's another day.
So we want to go.
So let's continue with Myles and see what else he has to say about this.
Sure.
All right. Okay.
Love does not make marriage successful. Now, your grandmother and your grandfather stayed together, but it wasn't because of love. It was because of the culture at that time that we call respectful dependency. She depended on him for her livelihood, because 50 years ago, women were not working outside the home. And so it was very, very understandable for a woman to remain with a man no matter how he treated her. And some of you got stories that you can tell me about your grandmother putting up with so much and never leaving. Not because she didn't want to leave, believe me, but because of the socio-economic cultural environment, it was to her benefit to stay in spite of. He also depended on her because he was not ready to bring up the children by himself. And he was not going to clean up no house. So he depended on her, she depended on him, and therefore the unity was based on mutual respect and dependency, not love.
Wow. That's
Myles is a deep man.
Yeah, that's really deep. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's the thing where he says about the fact that they didn't have a reason to leave.
Right.
It's like we are sticking to this.
Right.
It's not about, I mean, I love you or not. It's just the fact that, okay, I have decided that I'm depending on you. You also decided that you're depending on me. And we mutually respect each other's decision to accommodate each other in this way.
Right.
So there should be no reason why anyone would want to leave the marriage.
Oh, so exactly, Chris. So this is my point. So in those days, that dependency became a purpose.
Okay.
So I have a life, but my life can never be complete without depending on the other.
Okay.
So I am going somewhere, but I need his fuel.
Okay.
I need her fuel.
Okay.
So it's purpose. This is what made them stay together. It has changed, but we need to bring the same concept in the change we are in.
Okay.
And in one of your videos, we spoke about change.
Yeah, change.
We have the dynamics of marriage setting has greatly changed.
Mm.
My grandmother married my grandfather the whole of her life. And she was the first wife, but there were other women who could come to the house and she had no say. Now why? Because he was the sole breadwinner of the home.
Okay.
My grandmother had no money. I mean, even if she leaves, where is she going? So that became a purpose and she had to stay.
Okay.
And so things have changed, but we need to find purpose that will keep us. It doesn't mean she was happy that the man went out, brought other women home, but the purpose was too great to let go.
The purpose
was too great. And in those days, dependency was the purpose.
Wow.
If you leave the person, you don't have anybody to depend on. Mm. So it's of necessity that you stay.
Wow.
Otherwise, there's no reason. So there should be a reason to stay. In short, in simple summary, you should have a reason to stay. That is beyond love.
And that's where we talk about purpose.
And that is where purpose comes in.
So a lot of these marriages that are just ending on the rocks is primarily because purpose hasn't been defined.
It hasn't been properly defined because where there is no purpose, concentration is now on me and how I feel and what is good for me. I mean, there are other extreme cases of abuse and other things. That's a different discussion altogether. I'm looking at marriages that could have worked, but for the lack of purpose. And they went into it just thinking, oh, I love you. And they thought that sensation is going to last them the entire marriage. No, it's definitely not going to be.
Not going to be.
No.
Hello, viewers. You're still watching The Wireless Church. And I'm excited about what we are discussing. And I still have Reggie here with us. And we're going to go into the next segment where Myles was just talking about the older generation compared to the new generation. And what can we do in the new generation to make our marriages look better? So, Reg, tell me, what can we begin to look at?
Okay, so I think the first point of call is to look at our current setting as a new dispensation.
Okay.
And we'll go into the message now.
Okay.
And then Myles gives us a synopsis of what our generation looks like currently.
Okay.
So I think we should go to the...
Great. Let's watch that.
Yeah, let's watch and then we can come back.
Because now women are out working the same hours you're working. Which means when they come home tired, you're tired, and they're tired now. And so your grandfather used to meet the food on the table. But things change now. Ain't no food on the table, not unless you get Kentucky on the way back home. Having a warm bath run for you and your newspaper on the chair with your bedroom slippers waiting at the lazy boy chair, them days are over. It's a different world. And what's even more challenging is the relationship is no longer dependent on dependency. Because he could leave you now and put the kids up for adoption, or he could keep them and let a daycare center bring them up. She could leave now and still keep her standard of living because she's probably making more money than you anyhow. Matter of fact, when you met her, she had a car already and perhaps a house and some real estate. See, things have changed. So don't get this idea that relationships work because of love. Now, love is important, and you got all kinds of definitions of love. We're going to deal with that later on in about 2 weeks. But this is important to understand that love does not make a successful relationship, especially when you talk about marriage.
All right. So I think
Wow.
what kind of generation do we find ourselves in now? I mean, the women are working.
Right.
Sometimes even making more money.
Exactly.
And they have more resources than the men.
Right.
How does that impact the marriage, and what can we do?
Okay, so this is what I deduce as I strive in my marriage. It's very difficult for both of us to, both male and females, to understand that things have changed. And for most men, they are still expecting that level of service. That service came when the woman stayed home the whole day. Probably had all her energy, fixed food. So you come home and the woman is not stressed. And so you can have all the attention, including sex. We are in a generation where we all go to work. The woman is busy working. Probably she has a more demanding job than you. And so she's back from the office. She's the CEO of a company. She is a manager of a team of about 50. She's come home with a baggage already. Now, if you are not careful and you don't bring some level of understanding, it's going to affect everything in the marriage, including your sex life. Because sex begins from the mind. And when the mind is tired and stressful, both male and female, it can really affect the passion you put across. So this is my take. And anytime I listen to these messages, this is my take home. That, look, we need to have understanding of the time and the season. That things have changed. Now, the woman, you cannot sit down and expect 100% provision when you are not giving 100% service. Now, the man cannot expect 100% service when you are not giving 100% provision. Wow. So it is critical that we all come to a point of understanding.
We have to break even.
And break even. and come to a middle ground and say, look.
Oh my God.
We need to understand each other. So this is what I advise that we all do. First of all, we need to understand that things have changed. You can't have it like your grandmother did. You can have it like your grandfather did, where the man was responsible for everything, including your hair, your makeup, your dress, your shoe, your panty, the salt at home, the pepper. When she was receiving that, she gave 100% service. Okay. Are you doing same? Okay. So unless you want to be unreasonable, you should know that, look, I am not giving everything he needs.
Okay.
I am not giving everything she needs.
Okay.
Hence, I cannot receive everything I need, and she cannot have everything she needs.
Okay.
At that point, then we are at the ground of looking out for success. And that understanding must come to everybody, whether you are yet to marry or you are already married.
So we got to take stock of first what we are all bringing to the table. What's our current state right now?
Exactly.
It could be that at the time, at its current dispensation in a marriage, the man is providing less,
Right.
and the woman is providing more.
Right.
With a matter of time, that could also change.
Exactly.
So depending on where you are
As a couple, you should know what you give and what you should take.
You should take.
Don't give little and expect too much. You know, you need to be extremely reasonable. So we need to look at all this and this is not a straight jacket thing, Chris.
Yeah.
It can change.
Yeah.
It can change. In the first year, things might be different.
Okay.
In the second year, things might be different. So as a couple, you need a lot of wisdom to know that this is the current state we are. At this state, my wife's job is taking a lot out of her. What can I do to complement this? At a certain point in time, your husband becomes very busy and he has a job that is so demanding. As a woman, you should be asking, how do I complement?
Okay.
How do I come close to this so that we can have a very harmonious home? Otherwise, there will just be chaos.
Fire here and there.
Fire everywhere. Fire everywhere.
And all the pretense that we get to go through in churches.
I mean, once we are putting these fundamentals to work, and we are working at this, and like you said from the beginning, it's hard work.
Yeah,
it doesn't come on a silver platter. When you see somebody who is married and they tell you, I'm 20 years married, I'm 25 years, you're like, wow. You think they've gone through all the stages you have been through. It's just a matter of readjusting yourself at every point in time. And know that, okay, it used to be this, but I can't have it this way. Today, I need to readjust my mindset, my thinking, my psychological makeup, my emotion. Sometimes, even our emotional needs must change. And especially for us women who think that they should receive all the emotional attention and care, I think that it could change. There comes in a time of a man that your emotional give up should be more. They need a lot of encouragement, a lot of support, and they also need it. So we cannot wear this marriage with a straight jacket. It's very dynamic. And we must keep adjusting until we get to the perfection.
Maybe that's what
portray.
Maybe that's why we really need the Holy Spirit in this.
Absolutely.
This thing is not.
No, this you cannot do it by yourself.
You can't do it by yourself.
I think that is why in our Christian walk we say God must be the center of a marriage, because the wisdom it takes for you to navigate all these moments, conditions, situations, scenarios to bring the best out of the marriage takes too much beyond human understanding.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned this, bringing the God to be the center of the marriage, because I think most of the times when we initially get married,
right,
and for we Christians, there's a point in the marriage where if you're not careful, you start looking out for your need instead of the other person's need.
Exactly.
But actually, you should be able to look at the person serving one another in love, like the scripture says.
Exactly.
So it's more about the person,
right,
than about you.
So you don't always think of yourself so highly. You know, that scripture applies in marriage. You know, think of yourself highly, that you are the one who needs this. You are the one who needs that. I'm the one who needs to be pampered. I'm the one who needs to be cuddled. I'm the one who needs to be loved. I'm the one who needs to be submitted to. I'm the one, once you bring that in, you are really, it's like trying to put tension on a rope. You tear it apart. You should be able to be flexible and be able to adapt to the changes that the whole relationship is bringing to you.
Wow, that's super exciting. I mean, we've had a great session. I can guarantee you one thing, that there's more of this coming. There's a lot of this coming. Just stay tuned to this channel, subscribe, like, and share. And hey, you've heard a lot of things today. Anything you want to say, you can comment, drop a comment at the comment section below. And also make sure that you subscribe and share this link with every other person. We are looking forward to doing more of this in subsequent episodes. So please stay tuned to this channel.
And keep your notification button on.
Yeah, there's more coming.
More coming.
Great, thank you so much for joining me on this.
It's been fun.
It's been great. Thank you so much. Hello, I'm Chris, and I want to specially welcome you to the Wireless Church. If this is your first time of watching this video, I'd like you to like it, subscribe to it, and share it.